恭喜你发财，我恭喜你精彩。Roll the intro. Roll the freaking intro. 最好的经过来。Okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is the second time I started this, okay? Second time I started it, I didn't like how the first one was going, so we started with a little song. We started with a song because it is Chinese New Year's Eve. 新年快乐. 新年快乐. I hope everybody has a good new year because I want a good new year, all right? I want a good year. I want to just have a year in which I can grow in multiple aspects of myself. And with that being said, I'm just gonna jump right into it. First of all, what I'd like to jump right into actually is, hi, welcome back to that Bubble Bath, which is not in a bathtub at the moment in time because we had to move, so the set looks different. I hope you enjoy the new set, which is just right outside my shower. So my thoughts that were in this bath area are still coming to you, live and in stereo, just not from within a bathtub that no one uses. Now that we've addressed the biggest elephant in the room, next, what I want to do for 2025, even though it's already January 28th, January 28th of 2025, and I'm just now setting my New Year's goals, I'm going to use Chinese New Year's to set my New Year's goals, okay? My first one is truly just something that is more like, it doesn't really take precedent, but I want it to take a little bit more precedent. I want to be able to yap about a topic in Mandarin and not just like, 你好，我叫 Daisy. No, I want to be able to, any topic that I want, something that I'm extremely passionate about, and that's probably going to be K-pop. I want to yap about K-pop in Mandarin. I just feel like knowing a second language would be really good for my brain health because at this moment in time, whoa, we're not doing good upstairs. Also, I keep looking down because the other day when I was like, oh, I'm gonna do another thought bubble, I wrote down, I don't know if you guys can see this, I wrote down my talking points, and then also this is a picture of me and Ryan. Hey, this is self-portrait. I think you can tell who's who. I drew those with my own two hands. So goal number 1, yap sesh in Mandarin. Goal number 2, I wrote these a while ago, but goal number 2 is to become more financially literate. I want to be more financially literate because I feel like I've held on to this crutch of, well, where I come from, we're just not as smart. Like Brookings, Oregon, I feel and fear we are not that smart. And so I want to break that mold. I want to know more about my money because right now where I am, I thought that I was making an okay amount. I'm 26 and I thought I was making a decent amount of money from where I started because I feel like all the people around me did not come from where I started. So right now I'm like, oh shit, I'm making some money to where I'm comfortable. And that is something that I haven't really had and I just recently got, and then it puts me into this new weird perspective of, well, you're actually not making enough. And then I go, wait a minute, like I understand the ways of the world, and I'm like, I'm obviously not making enough to buy a house. I'm obviously not making enough to afford most things in which people with salary jobs do, but I am making enough to feed myself, to go on trips, to pay my rent, and then still have money thereafter. And I think that that is something that I'm still getting used to. And so the fact that I still feel like I'm strapped for cash, even though I'm not, I think now is the time for me to step out of that mold of I came from nothing, because now I have something and I need to understand what I have. Whoa. Hey guys, whoa. My next goal is Ryan and I, as we all know, Ryan and I are getting married next year. actually probably March of next year. So in about a year, and what is that, like a month or two? And I just want to make sure that I have a lot of emotions around this, so I'm gonna try and not like get into that as much. But what I want to say is I just want to make sure that I'm having a good time while planning my wedding, and my wedding goes the way in which I intend, but not strictly, because our budget is small, and a lot of people keep telling me that I cannot do it. But I feel like because of where I came from and how much I've had to prove what I know I can do and I've done coming from nothing, I know I can do it. And so I'm going to, but there's obviously going to be things that happen that are out of my control. And so long as I make sure that the things that are most important to me, which I guess is like the emotional aspect of it and not like the flowers and the dress and everything, if the emotional aspect of it is me being happy, even if small like things happen that don't go to plan, I don't care. I don't care. Honestly, that's such a stressful thing to think about too, because I come from a place in which I've been more independent, whereas Ryan is independent, but he also is closer to his family. So there's another tie that way that I want to make sure that, like, I feel like I want to make sure that his family is more okay than mine, because my family already knows that I do what I'm gonna do, and then they're gonna watch from afar of my success. Whereas his family likes to be involved in his success, and so I want to make sure that they feel like this is a good success for us. That's what I want to come out of it, so that way everyone can be happy. My other goal, I think I had another goal, but honestly, I wrote it down in my notes on my phone. If you guys could see the mass amounts of files and notes that I have on this freaking iPhone, I swear, dude, there's so much stuff piled into this phone. And I also don't keep a lock on it. So if my phone gets stolen, Lord knows what people are gonna look through on my notes app. If I die, my notes app is where you all need to go. It has everything that I've ever dreamed of on there. Okay, now to like stop being so sappy and like all that stuff. I had another goal. What was my other goal? Oh, my other one, stupid. Everybody says this one. I'm gonna make healthier life choices. I'm gonna make healthier life choices. My sister had a baby. You guys know what I'm talking about? That shrimp from Shark Tales? My sister had a baby and it has no arms and no legs. In other news, moment of silence, guys. Moment of silence. Because I made such a important decision, and you guys are gonna think that this is so stupid. But when I tell you, I have been chronically online and addicted to being online for as long as I can remember, okay? And when TikTok came around, oh my God, a chokehold was on me like no other. When it switched from Musical.ly to TikTok, I was like, okay, I don't know what this is, but it ramped up, and TikTok is like no other. And I deleted it. Oh my God. I deleted it. Guys, I had to, because it had every waking moment of my free time. And not only did it have every moment of my free time, but it had my busy time. Like when I'm sitting there working and doing stuff, my brain is like, just grab your phone, go on TikTok. Do this, go on TikTok. When I would just grab my phone, my thumb would instantly whoop, whoop, and click TikTok. I'm not saying that I don't love the app. I love that app to death, okay? But I think right now I am in a detox of short form content. it's really good for me, obviously, because like you shouldn't be addicted to things like that. But in a sense of feeling like I'm detached from the world, because the news freaks me out. But watching it in short form, it's fine. I can get what I need. And then if it seems like it's fishy and I'm like, hey now, well, I don't know if that's what we're doing here, I just hop on the good old Google, and now Google has AI. So, so now I just go like that, and it makes it okay for dumb people. And then Ryan goes, don't use Google AI. Actually read the articles. Then I have to go read the articles. But but when he's not there to tell me don't use the AI, I just look at the AI. But I think deleting TikTok, I miss it, but it was a good thing. It was a good move on my part. I know it's gonna come back. Like, I'm not stupid. And also, a lot of people are like, why'd you delete it? It said temporary. Also, the fact that when it came back, they literally were like, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for saving us. Girl, he is the one that took it too far. He took it too far and said, we gotta get this app out of here. And then I bet you Barron Trump was like, come on, Grandpa. Is he Grandpa or is he Dad? I don't fucking know. Barron Trump and all of the little Trumps were like, Grandpa, Dad, we use that app all the time. Like, why did you take it away? And he goes, kids are mad. So he's like, guys, we need a solution. And so he said, I got it. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna make you guys forget that I was the one that kind of pushed it on out of here, took things a little too far. I'm bringing it back. So I'm glad that I deleted it. And I miss it. And Instagram Reels is just not doing it. Instagram Reels is not doing it. So I hopped on over full time to Xiaohongshu, which I've had for a while, but I just like didn't use it as much because TikTok literally was mind control for me. So I loved going on that app. And now like I kind of just do on Xiaohongshu. And I also made a friend. I made a friend. Her name is Xing Xing. And that means like stars. Like, how do you say twinkle, 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 little star? 一香一香 something 星星. But it's like twinkling stars. And she has 2 kids. And we talk every day. And so I've made a new friend, which honestly I never did on TikTok. On TikTok, it is just dog eat dog on there. You're either watching the weirdest shit you could ever find, or you're on the opposite end of the universe, or you're on STEM TikTok. There were so many. I learned math that I don't remember, but I watched those freaks solve big equations for fun. But I hop on over there, and then I've been spending less time on short form, and I've moved more towards long form content, which I already was like in the realm of long form content, where I like listen and watch podcasts, and then I watch YouTubers that film videos that are longer. Say I watch Stephanie Sue. I also watch TFIL, but I watch more of like their overnight stuff because I think it's just fun to ghost hunt. Ghosts are fun. Come on now. And I also started watching their like A to Z. They're traveling like all of the countries. So they're doing like that whole thing, and they do it in parts and everything. I love a good tune into this part, tune into that part. It's like I'm watching a TV show. And we all know I freaking love my TV shows, okay? And so, but I think switching over to the long form, let me just wrap up this whole segment of banning TikTok from my whole life. I'm switching over to full-time long form content because when I also noticed when I would have TikTok, and I'm still doing it today, I literally did it today with a show, I was watching it and I was like, okay, this is taking too long. And I kept like clicking to skip. And I was like, come on, like have some patience. So I'm gonna make it, that was my other goal. I'm going to learn patience again because I used to only do long form content. I think honestly, once Jenna Marbles kicked herself off YouTube, God bless Jenna Marbles, I miss you every day. I kind of like switched over to short. because nobody was doing it funny like her on YouTube. And so I switched over to the short form, and it took away my patience. Womp womp. But I'm gonna learn it again. I'm going to become more of an adult, but also stay funny. If that makes any sense. Speaking of learning patience, let's scroll into the next segment. We toured a venue. And first of all, searching for venues, when you're when you're anxiety ridden like me and you're searching for venues and you're trying to do everything right, but you can't do anything right, and then you're also like, I'm just gonna do what's right for me, but then it's not right for everybody else, it's not right for you, even though you just said it's right for you. It's hard. Hey, it's actually really hard. And so we toured one, and when I tell you, it was the worst tour I've ever been on. And I've never been on a wedding venue tour, but I've been on other tours, and this was actually insane. We needed to just view one venue that was just so out of left field. And that's what this place was. And not only was the venue out of left field, the guy giving us the tour was out of left field. It was like if I walked on to a college campus, but the college campus was filled with 40-year-old dudes who are no longer in college, but they still live in a frat house. That's what this was. Sunglasses on the entire time. The way in which he's selling me this place, it was like how do I even describe that? You know when in like movies when the guys and their friends, they're like, don't text her back. Like, you don't have to text her back. Let it, like, play the long game. That's like what he was doing when he was giving me the tour. He's like walking around with us, and he'd go, so like, we got the lights, the dance floor. And then I was like, yeah, I don't think we would want this dance floor. It was like a raised glass 10 by 10 dance floor. And he's like, well, you know, the smaller the dance floor is, the more people, like, it looks like it's more fun, you know? And we're like DJ based. And right as soon as he said we're like DJ based, with his sunglasses and not looking at me at all while I'm talking, and also the fact that I was the one that reached out and did every single thing, and I walked up to him first, and he looked at Ryan and shakes his hand first and goes, hey, oh, worst experience. The best part, I'll tell you the two best parts. Okay, so it was like this little family-owned, like, I don't know how to describe it, but what was advertised was not what was shown. And then he essentially was like, we do wakeboarding here, because there was like a little like lake and everything. And then I was like, so if we booked this place, which we weren't, but here's a hypothetical. If we booked this place, would like the beach and everything be private? And he goes, well, we kind of stopped wakeboarding at like 6, so if your wedding starts around then there shouldn't be anybody on the water. Huh? Hey, I don't think I want to walk down the aisle to the sounds of people splashing and drowning in a small pond. But I digress. That was one of the best parts. The other best part is he's like, well, come check out the restaurant that has nothing to do with the venue in which we're touring. So he brings us into the restaurant, and then he goes, let's sit down at the bar. The bar in which there was a fruit holder, and all the fruit was moldy. Every piece of fruit in the fruit holder had been there since the Stone Age. And he's like showing me pictures of everything, and I'll tell you this, if I was just throwing a party, like if I owned a business and I was like, we gotta find somewhere to have this party, perfect place. The like tented area, big enough for tables, chairs, that whack-ass glass dance floor, plus not the dance floor. And then it had like this cute little outside area, but it was just a really bad experience. But I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we did it because it gave some humility to the stress that I've been having. And when I look back at it, even though Ryan and I fought that day, we fought because my feelings got hurt because he didn't express his like strong opinions on it, so that's why we fought. But when I think about it now, I'm glad that we toured that place because it's so funny. And I can look back on it and be like, remember? Hey, Daisy, remember when you toured this place? Yeah. Another thing about the wedding that's been stressing me out is just like, first of all, we don't even have a venue. Hey, let's get one thing straight. I don't have a venue and I'm already stressed out about things. So there's that. And I just want to... I'm like battling this situation in my head where I keep telling myself I don't make enough to have a wedding, but then at the same time, I have my fiance being like, we have enough to have a wedding. Like, let's do it. And so I'm like, okay. But then other people around me are like, hey, girl, you don't make enough. And I'm like, well, listen, my fiance said it's fine. My fiance said it's fine, so I'm gonna do my best. And I also don't want a lot of like the traditional things, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not particular about flowers, especially because like he's allergic to pollen, so like I don't want a lot of flowers there. And then also like in terms of photography, my sister had a whole last debate with me about this. She's like, there's a lot of photographers that can do what you're asking for. And I was like, there's not actually, because what I would much rather have is videography instead of photography, but I'm not going to pay someone $3K plus to take pictures that I know I could take on my iPhone. And I think that's where I stand on that. I don't want to spend a lot of time taking the photos. That's why we're gonna do the like, it's called prenup photos, but that's why we're gonna do prenup photos this March in SF, because why would I pay someone $3K to take pictures on my wedding day when I'm not gonna like more than half the photos, when I could go to SF, have fun with my friends, they have cameras, we can all go out to eat, we can do, Ryan and I dress up, and they take photos of us, and it's so much more relaxing. It's not posed. It's like, it's more slice of life, kind of like when I film my vlogs and everything. And I think that is more of us as a couple, whereas he doesn't really like to be photographed, so I know having someone try to pose us for photos, it's not going to look good on him, and it's not going to look good on me, and neither of us are going to like it. So why waste money on something that neither of us are going to be happy with? And I just feel like what I'd rather do is do the prenup photos and have a good time with that and have them look really cool and like thought out and like storylined and everything. And then on our wedding day, we just have like one of our friends' cameras, and once everything's done, family members come up, we take photos, and that's it. Like, we don't need to go off and like do these like scripted photos, because that's not us. And I'd rather just have like family members that want pictures come up, take the photos, and then we all just have a really good time. I think that's what I want the most, because though I'm not close to my family, I'm close to Ryan's family. I'm closer to Ryan's family. And I just want them to view this wedding as a success for their son, while I also want my family to be there to finally watch one of my successes. If that makes any sense. Honestly, that's what I've been going through. Also, when we moved into this goddamn house, let me backtrack. When we moved into this house, I wasn't even here for like a day, and then we went to Joshua Tree. We went and camped at Joshua Tree, and let me tell you, the daytime in Joshua Tree in the winter, fabulous. I liked it a lot. The nighttime, girl, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep the whole time I was there. And it was honestly the worst camping sleep I've ever had. And I've camped a lot, okay? I've camped a lot. I lived in my horse's barn. I've lived up the river in Brookings. Like, I've camped a lot. And this is the worst, the worst experience I've ever freaking had. It was so cold. It was so cold. I could not get warm. And it was so dry. And also, when I would go to the bathroom, my nose would bleed. No surprise, because my nose always bleeds. But I would just be like, come on. Like, it's so cold already. Just give me a break. But the trip in itself was really fun. I had a really good time. And I'm glad that we don't have another like big trip type thing coming up until the middle of the year, because I think I need some time. Because trips for me, like, they're really fun, but they're also stressful, and I don't know why. There's like this aspect of it where I just feel like I need to prepare so much when it's supposed to be relaxing. But I think that's something that I gotta work on with myself. Guys, that's really it. That's all I had written down. Let's go back over it. We did our 2025 we did our 2025 goals. We talked about our attention span. We talked about the wedding and the new set. Honestly, with the new set, listen, I think I'm just gonna do it wherever I do it. It's probably gonna be at this spot most of the time because like I'm in my room and I can just talk freely. But also, wherever I'm feeling yappy, I guess I'll just go be yappy. Dang, I really yapped. I didn't yap too in depth because there were a lot of times on this where I wanted to cry. Other than that, guys, I hope 2025 is a good year for me. I hope it's a good year for my growth and for everybody else's growth. And it's crazy to think that in a year, in a month or two, I will be married. Anyways, ponder what long form content creator or like what long form entertainment do you like? Like, are you like an audiobook listener? Are you a podcast listener or podcast watcher? What creators do you watch? Are you more just like into shows? Like, what shows are you watching right now? Or like movies? Like, what long form suits you and what do you like? That's it. 恭喜你发财，恭喜你精彩。Bye, guys. Every day, every night. Sugar baby.